Hello, my name is Father Lawrence Jagfeld. I am a Franciscan friar of the Sacred Heart Province, headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri. And I am also the administrator of CUSA, an apostolate of persons with chronic illness and/or disability. For this 33rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, we bring ourselves to the conclusion, at least the conclusion of our reading, of the Gospel of St. Mark, which we have been reading all year long. Jesus said to his disciples, "In those days, after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from the sky, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory, and then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the end of the earth to the end of the sky." Learn a lesson from the fig tree. When its branch becomes tender and sprouts leaves, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see these things happening, know that he is near, at the gates. Amen, I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But of that day or hour no one knows, neither the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As is always the case when we come close to the end of our liturgical year, our readings begin to talk about that which we sometimes refer to as the end of the world, or perhaps if you are a little bit skilled in the Greek language, you refer to it as the parousia, the second coming of Jesus Christ. And this particular gospel tells us that this event is going to happen after signs in the skies, a sun that will be blotted out, a moon that will shine no more, and stars that are falling from the heavens. Cataclysmic events. No matter what time or place, no matter what epoch of history, such things would be cataclysmic. Lately, we have known of a tremendous storm that has battered the eastern shoreline of our country. A cataclysmic event. Something that has changed the lives of hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people. We think back just a few years to the year 2001, and we remember yet another cataclysmic event when the World Trade Towers were struck by airplanes and were felled by them. Tremendous loss of life, tremendous change in the way life in these United States is lived. Although it's hard for us to imagine, such a cataclysmic event also happened in Jerusalem around the time that this gospel was written. We refer to it as the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem. And the destruction of this institution was, for these people, on the same level, the same order as the events of our recent past or of our within the last decade. These people knew only one kind of institution. They lived in a theocracy. Their economy, their education, their religion, their politics were all wrapped up in the temple. It was for them the most critical part of their geographical culture. We are different. We have a separate educational system with many schools, colleges, and universities. We have an economic system that has many banks, a stock exchange, a commodities exchange, all sorts of ways in which business is conducted. Our politics encompass in our country a two-party system, two houses that pass our legislation, but which are overseen by an executive branch and which are checked by a judicial branch. Our faith is rooted in our church, a church that is divided into many different sees or dioceses. So our institutions are many and varied, whereas for these people there was only one reality, the reality of the temple. It was destroyed around the year 70 AD, and that particular event changed the lives of these people radically. It was as if the sun had fallen out of the sky, as if the moon had been overshadowed, as if the stars no longer existed. This for them was the end of the world. Jesus follows these sayings up by a lesson from a fig tree. And again, it's helpful if we understand what kind of tree Jesus is talking about. If you were a farmer and raised figs as your cash crop, you knew that it took at least 6 years before a fig tree became able to bear fruit. And then in the 7th year, in honor of the Sabbath, the farmer was restricted from choosing its fruit, from selling its fruit. So a fig tree involved a huge investment for these people. It took years before they could expect to see any profit from it. However, if that tree failed to bear fruit, it was a rather harsh decision to cut it down or dig it up because of all the years of care that had already been placed into it. And so it was that Jesus counsels that we should be patient with the fig tree. We should be patient with the product of this particular plant. That patience has to translate into our concern for the end of the world, for the second coming. Jesus completes this particular saying by saying that no one knows when any of these things will happen, only the Father. He says that even he doesn't know when the end of the world will come. Now, we all know that throughout the 2,000 or so years that have taken place since Jesus left this earth, many people have predicted the end of the world. Many people have said that this is about to happen. Currently, we're waiting for December 21st in the year 2012, which is the end of a Mayan calendar, and therefore is signaling for some people the end of the world. Pay attention to the gospel. No one knows. The only thing that we can say with any certainty is that we need to be patient and that we need to be ready. The liturgy for this time of the year counsels readiness, counsels us to be alert to the signs of the times. Rather than predicting when Jesus will come again, we should be living as if he were already here. We should be concerned with performing our Christian duties as if Jesus were already in our midst, for surely he is. For more information about CUSA, please visit our website at www.cuson.org.